Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is December 2nd, and we have a jam-packed episode here because I've got like 5 days worth of coverage. I don't even know how long it's going to be. I think I'm just going to race through it, and you can follow the links to get the deeper stories. But we're going to be talking about the crypto price action for the last week. We're going to be talking about rewards for the GMC. We're going to be talking about the validator queue that we've got right now. We're going to talk about staking news with new clients, problems with MEV-Boost. On the Ethereum side, we're going to be talking about Tornado Cash. We're going to be talking about so much. So just look at the chapters below, and yeah, we're going to go fast.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Okay, so in the spirit of going fast, we're going to start here with the price action. So this was from the 27th, so a few days ago. Shifrin made a post saying, "I just want to tell everyone you're welcome." He says, "I sold a bunch of RPL and now we're up 43% on the week." So that was nice that, we were heading into the Thanksgiving break with some really positive price action. Of course, I haven't had an episode since Tuesday last week, so, nearly a week off. The price action was looking really good there for a few days for RPL. If we have a quick look at Binance here, you can see that the price right now is around $13.65. However, on the 27th, we were actually doing quite well on the 27th. We had reached a high of $14.32. And since then, we've reached almost $15. We reached $14.97, which is actually really strong performance. So that, of course, is really, really cool to see. Now, since then, however, since Shifrin's post, we haven't actually moved up that much. Like we had, one green day on Saturday. That was really nice. But since then, Sunday and Monday so far have been down days. With ETH, the story is kind of similar, where it's just been grinding up and to the right, for the last few weeks since the election, basically. But with ETH as well there, it kind of stalled at $3,760. It's retraced a little bit since then. And yeah, ETH BTC is looking okay. Like it bottomed, hopefully it bottomed, a couple of weeks ago. And since then, it's been moving quite well. Again, it's had a couple of red days as well, but it's actually holding onto its price gains quite well so far. So the crypto price action is looking good. And of course, here Joe was quite happy, I think, with the price action. So sharing updates going into $3,600 ETH. That was on the 27th as well. And then on the 30th, going up to $3,700 ETH. And since then, we haven't gone up to the $3,800 ETH yet. With this, we keep seeing these like stories popping up saying that there's so many shorts for ETH waiting, there's so many shorts for ETH waiting, and it's only a matter of time before they start getting liquidated. That price at which point they're going to start getting liquidated keeps moving further and further up. so they haven't still started moving up, and now we hit above 3,700, but it's just a matter of time, I think, before we really start moving up fast. Hopefully that'll be soon. Okay, there was some interesting talk about people in the Rocket Pool community talking about bull markets and kind of comparing the different mentality that people have between bear and bull markets. And I think this kind of is applicable to me as well. So I actually found this discussion really interesting. So Meek asked the question, he says, "How's everyone dopamine levels doing?" So people started responding like 3 out of 10, 1 out of 10. What's the dopamine? Epinef actually that was the one who kind of put forward this line of thinking. So he said, "I feel uncomfortable when prices go up and prefer my cocoon of red, protected by my armor of cynicism and defeatism." And here Art Democrat says, "I find myself looking way more at my cocoon price widget than I did over the last 2 years." He says, "It creates anxiety, which I did not have with ETH at $800 and RPL losing 90% of its value against ETH." And I think this was kind of a common sentiment. Like a lot of people in the Rocket Pool community here were talking about how it was easier in the bear market in some ways, because in the bear market, the only thing you have to do is just keep buying, like you just buy and buy. But when, you just buy regardless, right? Like price up, price down, you just keep buying your tokens, the ones that you have conviction in. And what happens then is when it comes to bull markets, then the world of possibilities opens up, and it's quite debilitating. I think non-fungible Yoakum here says, seriously, bear markets are cozy, way easier to keep from second guessing yourself every 5 minutes. Charles says, up market is more stressful for sure. But Epitaph says, yeah, the bear market thinking is, I really screwed up a year ago. Well, I live and learn. And bull market's like frantically trying to remember lessons from last time, but of course not remembering any of them. And then Halula says, I second guess myself with any flavor of price movement. Charles says, my biggest fear during bull markets is I don't have enough time to accumulate anymore, though diminishing returns has helped with that. Halula says, I've been complaining about not having enough RPL since the second it started going up. Here Jasper then kind of shared my sentiment as well, saying the first couple of times is pretty bad. You have to build that conviction. And I think that's kind of where I have been like, so, and then Jasper asked like, when did you get into crypto? So did you get in pre 2013? And there was 16% of people who responded saying they did. Pre 2015, 12% of people said they did. 2017, which is when I entered, so 56% of people said that's when they got in. And then 2021 was 8%, and 2024 was 8%. So very few people who are new, but I think this is part of the mentality, right? Like you accumulate and then everything crashes, and then you keep accumulating, hopefully, and don't panic sell, and then everything goes up, and then you think it's going to go up forever, but it doesn't. And then everything crashes again, and then you just go back into accumulation mode. And I think the point where I am right now is I'm going to sell my crypto, right? I'm going to sell my RPL, I'm going to sell my ETH, I'm going to sell my airdrops that I've gotten, I'm still holding, I'm going to sell everything. And I have price targets in mind. They are US dollar based price targets. So if my price target hits, I'm going to seriously consider selling all my crypto and start looking at what the market is doing, what different price indicators are saying, what the sentiment is showing, what technical analysis bureaus are saying. Take all of these things into consideration and wonder if I should sell at that point or not. Then I have a stretch target, which is around 50-60% above my base target. And if that hits, then I will just insta dump everything. I'm going to sell everything at that point. So that's just something that's my plan for this target of this cycle. One of the things that I've been telling myself is that I'm not going to change my plan. If my price targets hit, then I'm going to sell everything. Right now, I am a 6x away from my first price target, which is quite large. And I am a 10x away from my second price target. Now, the last year of the bull market, when things start getting really wild and crazy, I've seen those numbers hit. So that's what I'm waiting for. So one day, if I'm on Rocket Fuel and I'm saying, hey, I sold all my crypto today, don't be surprised by that, and don't think that it's got anything to do with Rocket Pool or ETH or any other projects I'm holding tokens for. This is literally just because it would be life-changing money for my bloodline. I could retire my bloodline. Well, not really, but that's the meme, retire bloodline. So I think that that mindset, like, it takes a while to reach that mindset and that level of thinking. And what will probably happen is, I'll hit my price target, hopefully, I'll sell, hopefully, and then I will, maybe accumulate if prices go down, and if not, then I'll be okay. So, yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that because it was a really interesting discussion with lots of different people bringing their perspectives and their ideas of how they are treating the markets. Sorry about that. I just was coughing. Oh, yeah. So I guess I haven't talked like this for a few days. Oh, wow. Anyway, thank you for that. I think how you approach the market is really, really, really important. And I think having a plan right now of what you are going to do is really smart. So if you are of the forever stake mindset, then you don't even need to look at the prices. You're just going to stake forever. If you are of the trading mindset, then you're going to be looking at things every single day, and you're going to be trading in and out of meme coins, in and out of tokens that are pumping, any article that breaks, whatever it is. And if you are, if you've got conviction bets, then whatever targets you set yourself, that's when they hit, then you sell. So yeah, check out this discussion. I thought it was quite cool. There was some nice perspective shared there. Okay, moving on from talking about prices and markets, we are now going to talk about serious stuff. So we've got GMC here, had a round 18 grants result. So here Schifrin gives out the information, the usual stuff. There's some general updates. This was the new GMC roster. The rETH incubator is taking place. The deadline is today, so we'll be covering that on tomorrow's episode. Lennart Tower joins the GMC. There's some legal research happening about DAO protections for members of the Rocket Pool community based on the Lido DAO case, Samuels versus Lido DAO, and LUSD Treasury. So the GMC is discussing whether or not to continue using LUSD in the treasury and how payments in LUSD will function going forwards. So the current roster is there. You already know that. Application breakdown, we had $663,000 in reserve, and price going up, of course, means that number has gone up a little bit, which is nice. Total grants requested 325,000. Total all rewards is 350,000 basically of rewards. So here are the rewards that were accepted. Regex Buster had 2 rewards accepted. Patches was accepted. Alpha Growth was accepted. Patches is work for integrating solo stakers into the rescue node was accepted-ish at lower price. Then a couple were deferred. So that's Liti and Butter were deferred. And then a couple were declined. That's Rocket Pool Explorer and Trickies. And then Patches here, quota visibility that was removed by Snowcones, who has exited the community temporarily, hopefully. And we'll be back soon, hopefully. So if you want to read a detailed breakdown, Schifrin's actually started a really nice new system where we're giving even more feedback to people. So we have things like, value to the community, scope for further development, improvement opportunities, 6-month grant duration, encouragement for proactive youth updates, and potential alternative solutions. And then with Patches as well, we've got really good detailed feedback here. So I really like this. I think this is awesome stuff. With Alpha Growth here, this was actually an interesting grant that will hopefully be funding rETH integrations in a way that the IMC can't. And then there's a whole lot more as well. So you can check all that out and get all the detailed feedback. Bounties that there's bounty stuff, member participation. So Lee did participate in the discussions, but his scores were not used since he left mid-round, and then Tower joined too late to participate. And final voting, there were 4 amendments this time. So one of them was to deny Buddha's Beacon Chain grant, and that was unsuccessful, and deny the incentives for Alpha Growth. That was unsuccessful. I think that was initially set to defer. And then another one was to deny the token motion design, and that was unsuccessful. And then approve the Alpha Growth grants, that was successful. So that was actually a really nice round with the new members. Everybody did really well, so that was awesome to see. Okay, next we have an update here that we got a screenshot shared by MadMat from the Euler Discord, and it's actually for this governance post that was posted in the Euler Discord, and this is from Grant from Rocket Pool, and he says, "Greetings, Euler community. I'm Grant, ecosystem lead for Rocket Pool, and we've been chatting with members of your team and want to propose adding rETH as an asset for Euler Prime. We believe that this would be a significant benefit to both our respective communities. Rocket Pool is permissionless, decentralized Ethereum staking protocol. The protocol has over 700,000 ETH staked on main Ethereum using 3,000 independent node operators spread across the globe. Rocket Pool's LST rETH has a market cap of approximately $2 billion US. It says in recent weeks, we made significant upgrades to the protocol that allow our TVL to grow substantially in the future. We're somewhat hindered of last year. Also, with our ETH deposit pool being capped as we wait for node operators to come online, our ETH minting slowed significantly as a result. As liquid stakers were sent to secondary markets, we're very happy to report that we are no longer constrained in this regard. We're happy to discuss more in detail how this would work, and if there's any interest from the Euler community, we're happy for your consideration." Euler community, I keep saying Euler, I forget which one it is. And here we had Tributary 0x replied by saying, "Interesting proposal and one that I'm broadly supportive of. How would you price for the additional risk inherent to adding rETH to Prime? How would you compensate that risk?" So Grant basically replied by saying, Rocket Pool has been thoroughly audited and has an aggressive bug bounty program, etc. And that's where the conversation's kind of stalled right now. But because the people from Euler actually came into the Discord talking about adding Prime. I think hopefully this will move forwards and we'll get some good results from that. Okay, Patches has an update on rewards tree version 10. And here he says, all right, good news, everyone. I'm pushing to bring back the ODAO rewards tree guessing game. Bad news, reward submission is going to go back to slow mode. So what does this mean? The guessing game was a game that we used to play every rewards night, every fourth Wednesday night. And it was that people would guess the order in which the ODAO members would, submit their trees that they generated for rewards. And Patches says that the good news is the game is coming back, and the bad news is the reason for why this game is coming back, and that's about the version 10 tree generation. It looks like it's going to be slightly slower than it was before, and he thinks that it might take a few hours basically for the rewards tree to get generated. And that's because of the way that they're going to be calculating it. So I'm sure that future versions of the rewards tree, like 11 and 12 onwards, would try to find optimizations. But it looks like we're on track for getting everything ready for the rewards period that's starting in a few weeks' time. Okay, we had some news about the deposit pool status. So here, Steely said that the wait for a new validator to come online during the Atlas launch, the longest any single node operator waited was 17 days pretty much, and that is longer than that now. So that broke a few days ago, and now it's currently at 21 days for the queue, and the queue has the length of 329 mini pools. So this has the queue is the longest that we've seen. The longest in terms of amount, but longest in terms of the duration. In terms of amount, I think the number of mini pools, the longest we've had was 2,000 during Atlas, but those were processed really quickly because we were getting so many rETH deposits at the time. Now over here, rETH deposits are kind of at a standstill because we are waiting for them to be deposited on the secondary. The secondary market has a depeg, so unless that comes back to peg, then we can't mint basically in the main deposit pool. But thankfully, we've got ideas for making that work. And if you have a look over here as well, you can see that the number of validators is kind of capped at around 330. It's been at that point between 310 and 330 for the last few days, and the amount of time that each person is waiting is now up to 21 days, 20 pretty much. So that number is going up, and each time you see the number move down, that's because of a deposit that comes into the deposit pool. We've had a couple of times when there've been multi-thousand ETH deposits, and we're just hoping that we can get more of that. There's 10,000 ETH deposit needed to clear the 329 mini pools that are in the deposit pool right now. And with that, the APR for rETH rewards have actually gone down a little bit. So this is from MetaMask portfolio, and they're saying that Lido is earning 2.89% rewards, and Rocket Pool's rETH is earning 2.71 rewards. Even with the rewards queue kind of feeding the APR and making it more effective, we're still kind of running a little bit behind recently. So that's a shame. Okay, going back to the Rocket Pool Discord here, we've got a new wallet integration that is coming in. So the Kraken wallet, if you go to the Explore page, you can now see that Rocket Pool is available for you staking your ETH in there, and you can get rETH back. So this is actually really exciting that they're doing this, and this was shared by Spartan, who of course, is trying to promote rETH. So I don't know how much of a hand he did or didn't have in this happening, but he was the person who noticed and brought it to the community. So that's really cool. Okay, next we got an update from Sam here, and this is about Liquity version 2, which is coming hopefully soon. So Sam says, yo guys, we came out with our testnet for Liquity version 2. You can test out borrowing against ETH and get a feel of how the user experience of setting your own interest rates will be like. And then he says, check it out. And then there's a link. And he says, we love any feedback. So if you are interested in testing out Liquity version 2, of course, they're going to start with rETH integrated from day one, which is really awesome. Give that a look and you can provide them with your feedback that they want. Okay, next we've got news of Finematics, who are a YouTube channel who create these like infographic videos about Ethereum really and crypto. And they've got a new video out that came out a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, and it's called DeFi is Back, the Renaissance of Ethereum, L2s and Solana Explained. And the reason why I'm covering this is because it's a really cool video. There's a lot of really nice stuff in here. And of course, because Rocket Pool is mentioned here. So give that a listen if you want, and you can see how Rocket Pool is mentioned in there. Okay, next we are talking about a node operator, sadly, who's offline since March, and they're a node operator with 107 validators, and people kind of digging around and seeing like what's going on. And it seems that the person whose validator is offline is El President. Now, you might remember El President from doing Rocket Pool Buy Party, RPL Buy Party, a year ago or so, I think. And it seems like they've been offline for a while. So people kind of digging into, who this person is, and like there was some doxing information a little bit there. But sadly, I think people kind of reached the conclusion that this person might have died. And basically, I don't think anyone in their family knows that they have died. No, sorry, that they had a node that was operating maybe, and that they have like, hundreds of ETH on there and RPL as well. So this was quite sad. I'll let you read through the messages yourself. The discussion actually went on for quite a while, where people were trying to find out who this person was and what the situation was and if there's any way of kind of contacting them. But if you have information about El President, or if you are El President, then definitely get in touch with people in the Rocket Pool community, because they kind of want to look out for you. Okay, we have news of a server streak, and once in a while I ask Lido to give an update on this because I'm number one. So I just like being reminded that I'm number one. So here, the longest streak in the Rocket Pool community so far is RPL Bot with 1,210 days, and then we have Rocket Watch with 1,124 days. And that's been posted every day in the Rocket Pool Discord for that many days. After that, the actual humans, I am number one, but number three overall at 238 days. Then it's Patches and Val and Bernard, then Hululo, and then this person who I don't know whose ID that is. And then we have Kron, Lee, Alpha, Genum, Sneaky Ninja Guy, Gatekeeper Extraordinaire, and more as well, which is quite cool. And then you can look at the all-time here, Patches is number one, Val is number two, and it's my goal to be number one on this. So hopefully I'll end up being number one soon. Okay, moving on to some staking news now. We have some news about client updates, and the first one is with Lighthouse. So this is a low priority major release introducing new features and optimizations which are backwards incompatible with Lighthouse version 5.x.y. This is version 6. So after many months of testing, this release stabilizes hierarchical state differences or state diffs, resulting in much more compact archive nodes. The longer-awaited feature, also known as on-disk tree states, was available for pre-release for testing with Lighthouse 5.1.222 experimental, and then there's some other changes here as well, and there's some breaking changes. So upgrading to Lighthouse version 6 should be automatic for most users, but you must remove any unsupported CLI flags and be aware of one-way database migrations and other changes to archive nodes. And then there's information there as well about how all that's going to work. And I think there was some problems for it communicating with Nethermind. Yeah, so here are the known issues. So certain versions of Nethermind don't behave nicely with this, so make sure that you read this whole release before you upgrade it, or just wait for the latest smart node version to come out and then upgrade it then. We also have an update from Nimbus. This is 24.11.0, and this is a low urgency release with just some minor performance and compatibility improvements, so you can go have a look at that. Okay, next we're going to talk about Pump the Gas, which is a campaign to help scaling Ethereum today. And the way to do this is by increasing the gas limits. This is actually a campaign that's catching some momentum. one of the people who's been supporting this in the last couple of days, Anthony Sassano, and of course he's got a huge reach, so I think people have kind of listened to him a little bit. Anyway, this pumpthegas.org website has information on what you can do and what needs to do and why it should happen. Increasing the gas limit will basically mean that you could get more transactions into a block on Ethereum, which means that you're scaling Ethereum, which is nice, but it comes at the cost of state bloat and just making sure that, being more intensive on your computer. And there's some ideas of the campaign and how it should work. And like I said, this is gaining some traction. And here Data always actually shared a tweet saying it's starting to catch on. 1.5% of proposers now use the higher gas threshold. So that number is growing compared to when the campaign first started a year ago. And there's been some ups and downs since then, but it looks like it's got a second wind. So I wouldn't be surprised if this actually reaches a tipping point where more and more people get excited about it and start reconfiguring their docs to make it happen. But definitely want to keep an eye on. Okay, next we have this post from Terence talking about the Pectra upgrade and a blob count change that might go into that. So he says that there's rough consensus now from all core devs to increase the blob target and max from 3 to 6, which is what it currently is, to 6 to 9, which is what they're suggesting it should be. So that would be doubling the blob capacity, but the max amount would only be 50% higher instead of 100% higher. And so we're going to do further pending testing and devnet results, but it looks like that's why there's rough consensus now. So that's going to be exciting. It should make L2s cheaper again for a while before they hit their capacities and start getting more expensive again like they are now. Okay, and then Terence again, we can start with Terence, but this is a story about MEV-Boost. So he says that there was some invalid blocks that were being created by MEV-Boost pipeline, and the root cause was still unknown, but all relay and builder teams have been alerted. Client teams are engaged in providing support everywhere they can. If anyone has insights or details about the issue, please share. And then there are a few tweets that kind of went out about this from Preston Van Loon talking about it. It's saying this is a minor Ethereum mainnet issue. And Mega Labs had some information here as well. And then POTUS, Mega Labs actually showed information breakdown of, which block had what epochs had what issues. So in, epoch X84, there were 3 missed slots. In X85, there were 6. X87, there were 6. X89, there were 5. So this actually went on for a while. Total missed slots was 30, but thankfully it wasn't an issue in that it impacted finalization. But I'm not sure what the solution is. I think it's stopped happening now, but I don't know sadly what caused it or what the fix was. And here POTUS was talking about this is an issue about enshrining, proposal builder separation, and this is, he said, you should think of enshrined PBS as enshrined payload block separation. The auction is a very minor part that can be swapped out at any time. So he says that with issues like this, it means that we should be careful about how we enshrine it. Okay, next there was a post at the Lido DAO, and this was their research thread and proposal. So here is about pre-confirmations and commit boost. So this person Drew is from the commit boost team, and thanking Lido for their grant and talking about how they can work on this stuff that will be really useful for coming changes in Ethereum later. And this started a very small discussion, and gonna keep an eye out on how this discussion goes, but you can read it yourselves to get more information. Okay, moving on to some Ethereum news now. And the big Ethereum news of the last few days was this Tornado Cash case. Molly White here, who's been a long-time critic of crypto, but kind of on the side of Tornado Cash here for privacy reasons, shared the post saying the Fifth Circuit has just opined that the smart contracts that comprise Tornado Cash cryptocurrency tumbler are not property because they're not capable of being owned and thus cannot be sanctioned by OFAC. And then Eleanor Terry, who's a journalist with Fox Business, but is a crypto journalist, says there's 2 big legal victories. One of them was the Tornado Cash one, of course, and the second one was a ruling by the SEC that expanded broker-dealer definition, which would have included decentralized protocols and automated market makers in the agency's definition of a dealer, and a judge struck that down as well. So These were two big defeats for the SEC and for the government and Treasury. It's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome of that is. The idea is that the judge has said that that the Treasury overstepped in restricting access to Tornado Cash. However, I think you might want to hold off on using Tornado Cash until we just get a little bit more clarity, because you don't want to be in a situation where you get in trouble, for something that can be avoided. Definitely check up on that more. Here, Sagar says an interesting part of the Tornado Cash ruling is that Ethereum is the only blockchain that was mentioned here. The document goes into depth about how Ethereum and the EVM works and why some contracts are immutable. It seems like the court recognizes Ethereum as a truly decentralized platform that cannot be manipulated by any single entity. And speaking of the single entity here, there was news that Vitalik actually donated $1 million to Coin Center for the Tornado Cash case. Just shows how aligned to censorship resistance the Ethereum ecosystem is. So, that's pretty cool. Yeah, good job, good guy Vitalik there. Okay, next we have news of the ETFs flows. So people in the Rocket Pool community were really excited about this on Wednesday and Thursday, because if you have a look, the numbers were just astronomical. So on Wednesday last week, we had $90 million of inflows, which were actually really nice. But on Friday, we had the biggest day ever for ETH inflows, and that was at $332 million. And that was on the back of BlackRock having $250 million worth of ETH being bought. And this is why we're hitting the good prices, over Friday and Saturday. And since then, it's kind of gone down a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if today is actually an outflow day on the ETF. But that's really nice to see. And the ETH now is $576 million in the positive from the ETFs, with BlackRock having $2 billion, Fidelity having just more than 800 million, Bitwise having around 400 million, and then at the tail end with a few of the others, and Grayscale's mini trust having 400 million in there. Okay, next we've got some political news, and this is about Donald Trump buying ETH. So there's a couple of wallets that are kind of related to Donald Trump. Whether he actually controls them or not is quite clear that, he doesn't control them, but they're definitely associated with them. One is the NFT wallet that he was selling NFTs from his digital trading cards. And the second was his World Liberty Finance wallet. So the NFT wallet is actually buying ETH. So here, Eric Connor shares news that President Trump is about to buy $10 million of ETH, which was going through CowSwap, which is absolutely amazing that a president is using CowSwap. And then we also had Crypto Condom here saying that the TWAP is ongoing. That's the time-weighted average price. And so far, Donald Trump's DeFi app, World Liberty, has bought $27 million of ETH and $10 million of CBBTC. And he's saying that this is a wild time, basically, that these purchases are happening. So the idea is that this World Liberty Finance is the president's DeFi protocol, but how much actual involvement he has is a bit up in the air. But the reality is that they're buying ETH and BTC, which is actually absolutely amazing. Okay, and then here, the CNBC was released a report saying that ETH could be crypto's biggest winner because of Trump, and investors nearly abandoned it earlier this year, which is a bit hyperbolic. But then they're talking about loosening regulations and the regulatory headwinds that have been removed from it, and the incoming SEC and Treasury people are looking like they'll be pro crypto as well. So ETH should, from a regulatory perspective, really thrive with that. And then here, the Trump administration, this is a bit unfound, we don't know for sure what the reality is, but it says that President Trump's administration reportedly plans to eliminate capital gains taxes on cryptocurrencies issued by US registered companies. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of crypto-based tokens like Ripple, HBAR, and Cardano and others have climbed so much in the last few days, because those are US-based companies, and there might be tax going away from those. So that's something to keep an eye on. And going back to the Rocket Pool community here, people were kind of laughing at Solana, and the reason for that is because on the back of the tax and regulatory changes, XRP is one of the tokens that's been doing really, really, really well. So much so that it's actually climbed in the rankings extremely strongly and is now the number 3 biggest crypto in all of crypto. It's overtaken Solana and even Tether, and it's currently at 155 billion market cap and is up 86% in the last week. So it's like one of the biggest gainers in the last 7 days. Actually, Virtual Protocol is the biggest gainer, but then Hedera, Algorand, XRP, like those are those US companies, the ones that they're the big gainers. So yeah, that's really interesting to see. Okay, talking about coins that have gained a lot. People in the Rocket Pool community were talking a lot about this Hyperliquid, which is a new perp dex that has its own layer 1, and they did an airdrop this week that had a whole lot of people in the Rocket Pool community really excited. And this basically, like a few people here, like GTD said, a friend of mine was using Hyperliquid a lot, got a $125,000 airdrop. The big winner, there were a lot of big winners. People got $1 million airdrops, as you can see from this tweet. A bunch of people, like, they changed their lives forever. They got over $1 million. And then in the Rocket Pool community, Bitter here got a 6-figure airdrop as well for providing liquidity a while ago. Now, what's really interesting about this token is that it is like a medium-sized float, but it has no VCs or anything like that. If you have a look at the 7-day chart since it launched, it's just been pretty much up only, which is absolutely fascinating. So it launched at around $4 and then it peaked at around the $9.50, and now it's sitting at $8.40. So it's kind of breaking the trend of airdrop tokens, and it's performing really well in its first few days. So yeah, that's nothing to do with Rocket Pool or anything here, but it's just some people in the Rocket Pool community did well with that airdrop. So congratulations to those people. Okay, talking about people in the Rocket Pool community taking bets, here we have news of Meek, who is opened a long position on ETH, which is a 5 times long position for 617 ETH. So that is a gigantic position. Meek was going long overnight, and yeah, congratulations, Meek. I hope this works out well for you. The price has gone down a little bit since then, but I don't think Meek is closing his position at a loss or anything like that. So yeah, Meek's staying strong. So this is just to say good luck, Meek, with that. And finally, we're going to end today's episode with a new this is Dream Expedition Research Group, a new research lab accelerating creative experimentation at the intersection of AI and crypto. So there's a project that has been started with a member of the Rocket Pool community, and that is looking for owls. He's the research lead of the protocol, and they've got an announcement of what it is. It's launching on December 5th, which is in a few days' time on Thursday on Base. And they are, I think it's going to be like an NFT, an art project, and doing some cool things like that. So if you want to watch the trailer, it's here in the submissions thread. So it's not gone into the website yet, so you guys get a sneak peek. And it's like lots of AI and NFT stuff. So I think what will happen is, like, you'll be able to take part by buying an NFT for $10, and it's going to be that, that's just to get involved. There won't be really any secondary market or anything like that. It's just experimentation, really. So if you are interested in that, then follow the links and check it out. But on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. Like I said, there was so much, but we kind of zoomed through a lot of that stuff. So definitely click the links below to get the information that you want about any of those stories. But otherwise, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.